Games, gaming. We like to do the games, don't we?
I I would happen to describe myself as a gamer, if that's what you mean. Yes.
Yes. That's. I'm proud of you for saying that. Thank you for coming out.
I know a lot of people, don't like to talk about it, but I feel like I should be open about it. I am actually a gamer.
That's okay. Have you told mum or dad yet?
No, I don't think they'd understand.
Yeah, I'd save that. I'd leave that. Honestly,
Yeah.
no, I don't think they'd approve.
No, probably not.
But yeah, so we're just going to talk about some anticipated games of this year. Because I think 2020 was a pretty damn good year for games.
Hmm.
Not necessarily that I played a lot of them that were apparently great, but it was a good year.
I'd say so. Last of Us Part Two, fantastic. Ghost
Animal
of
Crossing,
Animal Crossing was great. Ghost of Tsushima.
Doom Eternal with Animal Crossing.
Doom New Horizons. That was pretty good.
um,
Yeah.
for some people, Cyberpunk, who play, if they had like a rig that cost them 10 grand.
Yeah. If you had a 10 grand PC, you probably enjoyed that game.
Yeah.
I hate those people who are like, bro, just buy a PC. In the long run, it's cheaper. It's like, no, it's not. You have
No,
to
it's
spend
fucking not.
like your PC costs like 3 grand, and you can play Cyberpunk on medium settings.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Things like Hades, which is like
Yeah,
awesome.
cool indie stuff.
But yeah, so 2021 is looking like it might be quite interesting. I think just because new hardware, although it seems like a lot of games might now suffer, I think from the fallout of Cyberpunk, people are worried, I think, about cross-gen games. But
it's also kind of a shame that it's not really been until like the past like year or two that we've really gotten to see what this sort of generation's hardware can actually do. Like with games like God of War, Last of Us.
that's a good point, actually. Yeah,
And like
because you look back to I was gonna say, like, you look back to like release games, like for PS4, you had like Killzone Shadowfall and Infamous.
Yeah.
Beautiful looking games, but they were still quite. They're simplistic games, but they just looked glossy. Whereas now it's more like everything down to all the details and like the sound and the loading times of things, and the atmospheric design of shit. But who knows what's going into like next gen stuff? But I guess that's what we're going to discover now. We're going to see if we're going to be things.
Do you want to go through your, I guess, top 3 games you're excited for this year?
You go first. I like you did for the films.
Okay.
I'm excited.
I suppose my first one is I'm really excited for the new Ratchet and Clank game, Rift Apart.
You baby.
I love the Ratchet and Clank games. Insomniac always do really cool stuff. But they also, this is totally random, they also made a tweet recently about the character Joe.
Oh, I saw
from
that.
Resistance 3. So that
they keep doing shit like that though.
That gives me a little bit of hope that there's possibly a Resistance in the works.
I think it's inevitable. They have to. I generally think this year we'll probably hear about something like that.
I'd like to think so. That would be
because
a great PS5 game.
Oh yeah, like they wouldn't even have to, even if it was a sequel, but they just called it Resistance.
Yeah.
Or The Resistance, or just reboot the whole thing. Like it'd be so fucking good. Resistance 3 is still one of the best like shooters I've ever played. Like
that was really an amazing game, especially for like coming out on the PS3.
Yeah, I played through that game again like 2 years ago, I think, and it still holds up like so well. Like the story and everything, it's so grim and snowy and
yeah. But yeah, Ratchet and Clank. I just appreciate games that don't take themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
But also like it's still incredibly impressive. Like some of the stuff they're able to do in that game, from at least from the looks of it, it really takes advantage of like some of the SSD stuff on the PS5.
It seems like it's funny that that's the only game I look at, and I'm like, yeah, that could be on PS4.
Yeah, it's the most ridiculously cartoony one.
Yeah. The only thing there is, I'm a little bit. I loved the reboot, the 2016 one.
Yeah.
But they really did. I think we've said this before. They really did dumb it down.
Yeah.
Like the relationship between Ratchet and Clank was nowhere near as like nuanced. Like Ratchet wasn't such a cocky arsehole. Like it was super Pixar-ish.
And I think that's largely because they had the movie coming out at the same-ish time. So they were like, we have to cater to that kind of audience more. So
that's true.
That gives me a bit of hope that this one they'll sort of steer away from that and they kind of bring it back to how it used to be, like make it a little bit more adult.
Yeah.
You know, like sort of more raunchy comedy.
Raunchy. For all the furries out there.
Yeah.
That's the only reason they introduced that dimensional female version of Ratchet. Like,
yeah.
But I guess like I don't know. Whatever I was going to say is just completely gone out of my head. Oh, I think like the problem with I don't know. I am really looking forward to it, but there's just something. A really good thing about this is, if you remember, the reboot was like a mid-priced game.
Yeah, it's like 25 quid.
Yeah, whereas this one is looking to be a full, well, unfortunately, a £70 game.
Yeah.
But at least they're going for a full-on experience with this one than they were for the last one, so that's quite exciting.
Yeah, I think they'll be able to get like way more creative with like the weapons and gadgets and stuff and the different like planets you can go to.
Yeah. I do hope that it's not. I know we're all excited about the whole Rift side of the gameplay. Like you can just open them up, like open these tears, and
I don't really care about that.
Well, that's the thing. Like people need to have expectations in place because people are like, wow, you can literally transfer to anything whenever you want. It's like I don't think that's going to be the case. That's going to be like a selection of gameplay that you're going to play through.
Yeah, it'll be like certain cinematic moments that are already like not pre-rendered, but like they know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah,
like it's kind of like with God of War, which like when that came out, it was like it's one of the sort of gimmicks is that there's no loading times, like there's no cuts. It's like that's because it's all like, you know, it's all scripted out as to when those moments will happen.
Yeah, exactly. It's like in the gameplay trailer for Ratchet, you see like you can bring parts of the level towards you. Obviously, that is going to be consistent. You're going to be able to do that whenever because it's just the level that's loaded. But yeah, like the bits where he's on the rail going through different worlds, that's clearly a sequence that happens.
Yeah, that's not just going to happen during gameplay. If it did, obviously, that'd be incredibly impressive and amazing, but it won't.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, you see like Demon Souls, like the load times on that are like ridiculous. Like you die and within a second you are literally back up and running. But I don't know. Maybe they can do entire worlds that way. I mean, there's like that game, The Medium, that's coming out about now soon for Xbox. Right. It's the horror game. It's like it looks like Silent Hill-ish. You kind of you swap between two variations of this world.
Oh, yeah, I vaguely remember what one you're talking about. I can remember the trailer for it.
Well, I think it does this thing where it's like it's not procedurally generated, but it's like it's running two worlds at the exact same time, and you can swap between them. So that's really cool, and like if they can do stuff like that as well, like who knows what they're gonna do, but. I don't know. Ratchet's a good choice, actually. I did think about putting that. It's not in my top 3, but definitely excited for that.
Yeah, I think. All right. So my next 2, I think you might actually disagree with. You might not.
Oh God.
You might not really care about. The first one is Deathloop, Bethesda's game.
Okay.
It's being done by the same studio who did like Dishonored, which is one of my favorite games of all time, and Prey, which was awesome, and Dishonored 2.
Yeah.
I just think it looks really cool. It looks like a really fun experience. Like you almost seems like it takes place in one of those like kind of Spider-Verse type worlds, where it's like
a pseudo 70s kind of vibe to it
Yeah.
as well. Like,
it's like kind of breaking the fourth wall at times, but not really. Like that doesn't affect the story. I think the gameplay just looks really cool.
yeah.
Um,
I honestly don't have a reason for why I'm not more excited about that game because I'm the same. Dishonored is one of my favorite games of all time. I still haven't beaten Dishonored 2. And I keep going to play it like 3 or 4 times, and I only get to the same point every time. But it's still phenomenal. Prey was really good for what it was. It wasn't Prey, but I don't know what. There's just something in the back of my head. I'm like, okay, they're hitting that whole thing with the like world invasion stuff that like Dark Souls has done, like where someone can invade your game and take out your target or you. That sounds cool, but I just hope that there's a toggle you can turn that off if you want to, like, and just play through a storied experience.
No, I totally agree with that. But if it's something that's handled well, I think that'd be like fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. And it's very Tarantino-ish. Like I do love that kind of pop arty kind of trailer they've done, the vibe of it. But
a lot of it almost looks like old like French paintings, which is like kind of like what Dishonored I suppose did. Like fucking
like oil painting, shit. Like
yeah.
I mean, it's a really good team, like and stuff. Arcane are great, but I when is that supposed to be coming out? Because as well, it's a PS5 PlayStation exclusive.
I think it was supposed to be like May or something, but I don't know how. That's probably been pushed back, I'm sure.
I thought you said bushwhacked for a second.
It's been bushwhacked. Like...
you like broke up. I was like, what? That game's been bushwhacked. But
they should bushwhack more games.
I wish they would. We should make a game called Bushwhack.
It'd be like a very Crash Bandicoot type thing.
Yeah.
There's not.
Right, really... no one steal this. In fact, just censor this entire bit out.
Are there any like Australian game companies?
I thought you were gonna say like games. I was like, Ty the Tasmanian.
Obviously, that's actually Tasmanian. It's not Australian. So.
God damn it. He speaks Australian.
We should play Ty the Tasmanian Tiger at some point. That game's awesome.
It is awesome. I wish. It's funny because like that wasn't on. At least I don't remember it being on PS2 at the time. I can't remember. I feel like it was only on Xbox.
I think. No, I think it was on PS2 because I remember.
I feel like maybe my mum told me it wasn't on PS2 just because she didn't have to buy it for me.
Maybe.
So I had to just play it around friends' houses. But yeah, that game was sick.
Because it's
like Blinks, the Time Sweeper too.
It's on PS4. Like they've done like a release of like HD thing.
Yeah, we should. Okay, yeah, we should definitely do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Deathloop. Yeah.
Yeah. Not much more to say about that. I just think it looks really cool. I like Arcane. But my next choice for most anticipated game is Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. Okay,
you're such a normie.
Hear me out. It looks awesome. I love Lego Star Wars. Is so nostalgic for me. That was my childhood. I played all the fucking Lego Star Wars games. I played all the Lego like Batman games. Fucking Lego like Pirates of the Caribbean, Indiana Jones, all that shit. Those games are so fun, and I just want to have something like that again.
Is it the entire?
It's all the full trilogy, like completely redone.
That's cool. That is cool. And you know what? It might actually make you enjoy the newer trilogy better.
It will probably be a better told story.
Yeah.
But I was looking, and it's the like sort of it's Traveller's Tales, whatever you call TT games. But the director of this one is the guy who directed like the Lego like Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit ones, which I haven't played myself, but apparently they're like some of the best ones.
Yeah, I did hear that. Like that was when, because they started to get into a rut, didn't they? Because essentially it was copy and paste by the end of it.
Yeah,
Like when they were doing the Jurassic World one and shit, and it was just like, okay.
the same
Uh,
thing every game.
but it does seem like, yeah, those ones in particular were done with much more quality and care to attention and stuff. But who knows? Yeah, maybe it will win Game of the Year awards for like story and
I mean,
gameplay.
you know, never say never.
Oh, I am shocked by that first choice though.
Yeah, I have some honorable mentions, but do you want to go through your list first?
All right. I thought I wasn't going to put them in order until I just stare at the list and like do it on the fly, because then I'll probably have a better like
Right.
quick reaction to it. So number 3. Oh man, this is hard. No, okay, yeah.
Just you don't have to put them in order, but like maybe.
No. But I will say my third one, and I don't know if it's even going to come out ever, actually, but it seems like it should come out this year, is Dying Light 2.
Yeah, that I mean, it's not going to come out ever. We haven't heard about that game in like fucking 3 years or something.
I don't understand, because Dying Light 1 was like a critical and commercial success.
It was awesome. That game was amazing.
Fucking fantastic, that game. Like the parkour elements really worked, and they had no. They shouldn't have worked that well.
No.
The concept of the world, it wasn't just zombies. Like the fact that at night things mutated and they were super strong and like you were fucked. Just that game was so good. Like the story was shit, but it was kind of campy shit.
Yeah, it was like exactly what you'd expect from like a is it George Romero like type zombie movie?
Yeah. Like you had like a mustached twirling villain.
Yeah.
Like, okay. But like from what they showed off of this one, like they did a full like 40-minute gameplay demo like 2018, 2019. Yeah. And it was just so good. Like the world looked really cool. It almost looked like a mix between like Day of the Dead and Waterworld. Like there was this whole like street and city built on the water that you could flood, you could like try and get people out, you could tackle things in so many different ways. But the developer has been taken over by a different company, and they've been forced to work on other stuff. They haven't said that Dying Light 2 is cancelled, and I have no reason to think they would, because that game looked like it was finished.
It looked amazing.
I just want to see if like there's any news on it, because it's still got an official. Oh, sorry, go on.
That was one of my like honorable mentions.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, Techland are the ones doing it, but they were acquired by someone.
Probably like Activision or some shit.
Something like that, yeah. And I just think it'd be such a shame.
That would be like a tragedy to lose that. Because you're right. Like, I don't think anyone disliked that game, the first Dying Light, and no one thought this next one looked bad or anything. Everyone thought it looked awesome.
Yeah. And it makes me laugh because, so Dying Light. Because I remember the same publisher also released Dead Island.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucked. Like,
I hate that game.
It was really bad. And I remember that was one of the biggest examples of like don't trust the trailer. The CG trailer for that game was like beautiful, and like a guy like it looked really serious, and you play it and then it's like you're a typical stereotypical Asian woman or a massive black like African American.
That was if I remember, like Dead Island, the only like really fun part about it was like getting to play it with friends, because it had like online multiplayer.
Yeah, that was like the only good bit about it. And the sequel, not the sequel, but like the pseudo sequel, the in between one that they were doing, kind of had that stuff as well.
But like again, Dying Light had that, and that made it so much better being able to play it with friends.
Yeah, I mean the entire expansion they did for Dying Light was like immense. Like they added it was like Far Cry but with zombies. Speaking of like Dying Light, like Dead Island 2 as well was like the trailer for that came out in like 2015, 16. but that's just been shelved. I think there's like a whole thing about that game
Did
just
that
being
never
like
come
fucked.
out?
No,
I mean, like,
it's had like 8 developers
oh my
working
God.
on it, which is really sad. But no one gave a fuck about Dead Island. So, but yeah, Dying Light. From the gameplay that last came out, people should go and watch it because it's really cool, like, and
Yeah,
nuanced. But if we ever see that, don't know. So maybe I shouldn't have put that as number 3. But fuck it, I can do what I want. I can dream.
Yeah, that's
So
nice.
my
Yeah,
second choice.
go on.
My second choice is it's hard because there's 2 that I want to put in second place, but that fuck.
I'm pretty sure I
Alright,
already know
fuck
what
it.
your number 1 is, by the way, but I won't say it.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe you don't.
Maybe I don't.
Maybe I'll.
Maybe it's your second
You
choice.
probably do. But okay, so the second one I'm going to go with Little Nightmares.
Yeah, that game looks. I love
Like-
the first one so much.
Yeah, and I know it's such a stupid pick as like a game that I'm super hyped for, but like, because the Little Nightmares, the first one was like 4 hours long.
Yeah, it was like more of an experience.
Yeah,
For sure.
4 hours long, but forever in my heart. Like that game is awesome. Like it played like things that happened in it reminded me of things like there's a film called Delicatessen,
Yeah.
like French kind of horror drama, like really like post-apocalyptic, really weird film. But it reminded me of that, like some of the designs of things in that, like just the world design alone is like price for entry. But the second one looks like it's like much broader, different kind of characters and creatures in it. Just looks really cool. I don't really have much more to say about it, but
Has there been a like proper trailer for it, or has it just been like teasers? I can't remember.
no, there was one proper trailer for it. I think whatever took place for E3 last year, or maybe it was a like a PS event or Xbox event. I can't remember what it was, but no, it just looks really awesome. It'll probably only last like 5-6 hours again, but fuck it, that's enough.
Totally fine.
I mean,
with that.
people loved stuff like Inside, and that won like Game of the Year award.
Yeah.
3 hours. So, but yeah, my number 1. Right, what do you think my number 1 is?
My guess is Horizon Forbidden West.
Shit.
Yeah.
I was either gonna go right, yeah. So I was either gonna go with Horizon 2, or I was gonna go with the Hogwarts game.
Oh really?
Yeah, just because this isn't games that we think are gonna be good. This is games that we're excited
Okay. Okay.
about. But whereas Horizon is gonna be a great game.
Yeah.
The only thing I think is a bit disappointing is that it's on both consoles. I mean, we don't have a
Yeah.
PS5 anyway, but I feel like that might
You know, it looks so
lessen.
You just know it'd be so much better if it was just
Yeah.
built for a PS5.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, I kind of lie because it was between 3. It was between Hogwarts, which I feel funny even saying that. Horizon 2, and actually no, I'll leave the other one for an honorable mention because.
Okay.
But yeah, no. Horizon, I fucking love Horizon 1. And I know it was
Yeah.
kind of shallow at times and it was a little bit like campy and like little side missions weren't amazing and stuff, but the scope of that game and the world design, it was like Zelda almost,
Yeah.
like Breath of the Wild. But I love the backstory of that game. Like the lore to me in that game was, I listened to all the little audio files like all the time.
I loved even just hearing like this like science stuff, like project, like the Gaia thing that went on, like all like the
Yeah.
stuff going on behind that. Like there's so much you could like files and stuff that you could just read. It's
And it was
awesome.
genuinely sad. Like when you hear like the audio log, the final stand that was taken against the machines that were just devouring like mass essentially, and like her like heritage you learn about. It's just really cool, really cool. But
Yeah, it's really cool. Very cool.
and the guy who was John, the butler in John Wick, the concierge guy,
Yeah.
he was not the villain. He was that guy, Cyrus, I think his name was, the one who wanted to
That
control
really?
the.
That was him.
Yeah, that was
Oh
him.
my
Like,
god.
but the only thing that I kind of thought was a bit of a letdown was actually Aloy herself. She wasn't like
Really?
she was kind of cringy sometimes, but in a kind of charming
I
way.
was gonna say I found her very charming,
Yeah,
and I loved the like just the story of that game, like her story.
yeah. It was very like they could have gone either right in at the deep end with just sci-fi. It's a sci-fi story, but it actually wasn't, was it? Like at the heart of it, it was about like this tribe trying to survive
Yeah,
and unite everyone else. It was like Lord of the Rings, for fuck's sake. But
kind of. Yeah.
yeah, the second one I'm sure is going to be like just as good. Like I hope that the gameplay trailer they're going to have to come up with a gameplay trailer at some point
Yeah.
because I feel like this game's coming out probably
Well,
the end of the year. They haven't said, but
well, I was thinking like I feel like I just know that the game is going to be super solid and it's going to be like just as good, just as fun as the first one. I just want to know more about what the story is going to be.
well, that's the thing.
Like,
I feel like that's the place they could fuck it up. Like the
yeah,
gameplay was great. The RPG mechanics were kind of perfectly simple. And like all the creature designs, like you obviously that's what you want more. You want more dinosaurs.
more tech dinos.
But yeah, the storyline, like I do want to know what it be. I mean, the first one was written by the guy who did Fallout New Vegas, and I feel like he's still on board, so
Okay,
it should be pretty deep.
that'd be cool.
But yeah. So honorable mentions.
Right, my honorable mentions. I have a few. Well, obviously, Dying Light 2, Horizon, Little Nightmares 2. All had on my other ones were. This is kind of a weird one. Do you remember the Lord of the Rings Gollum game?
I've got that on mine as well.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, like,
Who doesn't want to play as Gollum?
I know that like that's it's a really cool idea. Like, it seems like it'd be like kind of the Styx Master of Shadows games, which I love
Yeah.
those. They're really fun. Um,
Such a, but it's like I wouldn't have wanted to be part of the team that had to announce it or market it.
yeah, that's such a difficult like. How do you market playing as like the creepy weird villain, like who wears a loincloth,
Yeah,
crawls around?
and apparently it's being billed as like there's like supposed to be no combat in the game. Like how do you
Because it's all
market
stealth.
that game? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like a stealth action.
because like there's been like snippets of gameplay, but we haven't seen like how like say playing a certain like stage or level will actually play out.
Yeah, or if it's
So,
like open world, or if it's level based,
yeah,
whatever. Yeah, it does look cool, and the graphics look awesome. Like,
yeah, I like that they went with sort of a slightly more cartoony look to it. Like it looks kind of like the old like Hobbit game or like
oh, see that man. If I could wish for a reboot of anything, if I had a little coin, I could throw wishing well. Give me a reboot of that Hobbit game.
yeah, that'd be amazing. I would love that. That was such a sick game.
And the funny thing is, I remember someone bought it for me on the PS2, and I thought I was excited because I was like, "Oh wow! Like this is going to be in the." I thought it was the same designs as the films. So initially, I was kind of upset that it wasn't like
Yeah, it didn't look like
the Peter
movie.
Jackson version. But then it was so like cartoony and storybook like and fairy tale. It was so fucking good.
Yeah, it was
But
fucking whimsical.
in fact, I want to know what people think of that game because I've never actually looked it up.
No. Yeah,
Uh,
I've
yeah,
tried
go
to
on.
track down a copy of that game forever, but I can never get one.
I tried to find a copy of like a file of it to emulate,
Yeah.
and they don't exist.
No, I can't find them anywhere.
59% on Metacritic.
What?
Fuck off.
Bullshit.
Get out of here.
We have to find a way to play that game, as well as.
Oh, the
time.
user score is 8.1.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Let's see what my. Resident Evil 8 is another one of my honorable mentions.
yeah,
But like,
hell yeah.
I've like recently like fallen in love with the Resident Evil franchise because I'd never really played it before. But
Yeah.
like, I played through the first and second one, starting on the third one, seventh one. I played the fifth one
Yeah.
as well. So I'm working through playing all of them, and I'm just really interested to see what they do with this one because it looks really different. But like, I hope they keep a lot of those like kind of puzzle mechanics like
Mm.
some of like the horror with the zombies, but like also add in all that extra stuff it looks like they want to do.
This is the thing. Like the 7 was great for its like groundedness. Obviously, it gets weirder as you play, but
Yeah.
you're in a normal house that people could probably live in or have been in, like the same kind of
Yeah.
swampy areas that people have encountered. But then you do have like, and the family as well, like made that.
Yeah.
This one looks so much more fantasy horror, like gothic horror.
Definitely.
It looks like a first-person Bloodborne in a sense, like the werewolf creatures
Yeah.
and shit. Like it just looks so good. But the only thing that worries me is, do you remember that first initial reveal? And it was running on a system, and the frame rate was like
Yeah.
Mr. Magoo
I
kind
remember
of
that.
thing.
Wasn't that because we were watching it on like a terrible stream or something?
It was,
that
but I
certainly
remember
didn't help.
No, exactly. It didn't help. But even when rewatching it, like the
It was,
actual
it was really
frame rate
bad.
looked kind of
Yeah.
bad. The most recent gameplay that got leaked though, looks really solid. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, what a schizophrenic franchise. I feel like it'd be cool if we did a review of every single game
Really,
at some point, or like the franchise as a whole, all the films, including the
Yes.
fucking the
Like,
one that's coming out this year. Which
oh god, is there?
don't
another
hold
one
your breath, people.
I did not know there was another one coming out this year.
So there's one that's just finished wrap filming,
Ooh.
and it's coming out at the end of the year, and it's got like that Kaya Scoladero in it, who was in like Pirates, and she kind of sucks. And it's basically, this is the thing though, like people are like super excited about it. It's gonna be like pretty bad because it's the director of like 47 meters down, 48 meters down.
I didn't like those movies. Not
I
just
didn't
'cause
like
I'm
'em
scared of the
either.
water, but they just weren't that great.
No. So it's like the director of those and a film called Storage 20 sucks doing it. And I feel like it's just going to end up being like the Tomb Raider reboot film. It's going to be stuff. It's
Yeah.
going to be like so. It's just going to be like the Monster Hunter one that came out. It's just going to be poor.
Yeah, it'd just be lame. Like, no
And he's-
spice.
Yeah, exactly. And apparently it's like the director was like, I really want to harken back to, the Resident Evil 1 and 2, like the real like gothic horrorness of them and like small scale. It's like you're talking about Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 2 are two completely different games
Yeah.
when you really look at them. So what's this guy talking about? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. It's probably gonna suck, but
Like that. Yeah, that's kind of true. Really, like the first Resident Evil is kind of that. It's like this very small scale horror puzzle game.
Mm.
And then like
And the second one's much more like action horror puzzle,
Yeah.
like much more layers to it, literally. But yeah, Resi 8, I'm looking forward to it too. But
yeah, I have nothing else really on honorable mentions, but I do have things that I'm not interested in at all.
is there anything else that you have that's like you're kind of excited about, or is that it?
I'm sure there would be if I could remember it, but no, I don't.
Fair enough. I think the only other ones that I had that I'm excited about are like that Kenna Bridge of Spirits game,
Oh, okay, yeah.
which looks like a Pixar film. Again, like a PS only game. Like it looks fucking cool. Like third person fantasy action. That could be like they need to bring platformers back. That and Ratchet could be like the spark of it. Again.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And Cyberpunk, but a working version of it would be great with this
That'd be
year.
nice. Well, you've already beaten the game though, so
Yeah, but I want to replay through it, like, but just when it's
Yeah.
fixed. But
yeah, that's fair.
yeah, go on. What games couldn't you give a shit about?
I couldn't give a shit about Gotham Knights.
Oh, yeah.
Because I love the Arkham franchise as a whole, even the poopy ones.
Yeah.
Like
Origins needs more love, people.
Origins is a really solid game. People don't give it enough credit. And Arkham Knight, as bad as some of the story may be, the gameplay is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Tank.
It just looked. I didn't like when they showed that trailer, and then it got to like the damage per second shit going on, like the RP, like leveling stuff that was happening. I'm not excited about that. Like they can do one because
Yeah.
it also looks like they specifically said that the enemies kind of scale with you. That's bad. Don't do that.
Game. Yes, I know. Like, just like looking visually at Gotham Knights, it makes me want to be sick.
Yeah.
Like that's not what a Batman game should be. And I know it's like Robin and like Nightwing and shit, but you've still got like Red Hood, these like really like dark like characters. They shouldn't be like doing like Fortnite type action.
No.
Because like visually, it reminds me of Fortnite, and I know that they did that intentionally.
Yep. And this is it does look like Fortnite. Yeah, I think completely. And the thing is like, they specifically stated that this takes place in the Arkham world. Batman's dead. And it's like, you didn't have to do that. This could have just been like, if you wanted to do the Fortnite style thing, just don't make any reference to the Arkham games.
Yeah.
Like,
but then because it's WB Montreal, isn't it? It's not.
Yeah.
It's not Rockstar or Rocksteady.
Rocksteady are doing that other one, the Suicide Squad thing.
Yeah, but I mean, even that I think looks kind of
lame,
too cartoony. But we haven't seen any gameplay of that, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gotham Knights. I think it looks stupid. I also, on my not interested list, I have Hogwarts Legacy.
No. No.
I think you're right. I think it's going to be a super memeable game when it comes out, and I am excited for that.
That's what I want.
But as a game, I could not give a shit.
No,
I'm not really a Harry Potter wizard fan, to be honest. So
you're a Muggle.
Apparently so. And Far Cry 6. That's my list.
Yeah. Good choices there. Yeah, Hogwarts. I mean, you can fuck off. That game's gonna come out, blow everyone away. Everyone's gonna be like, God, do you remember the days of like games like The Last of Us 2 and God of War? Fuck off. Hogwarts is where it's
Hogwarts
at.
Legacy. It's literally gonna be like one of those PS2 games, except it's multiplayer.
Yeah. No, I'm not really excited. I'm excited for the memes that it's gonna be. Because it's by like Avalanche as well, the people who do like Just Cause. Come on.
Yeah, like what are they expecting?
But yeah, Far Cry 6, I really just want them to. They need to do something like they need to actually evolve that game. But it's not. It's going to be Far Cry 4 and 5, and like it's going to be Far Cry 4 and 5 just reskinned.
Absolutely.
Because Ubisoft are lazy as fuck.
They're pretty bad. They haven't made like a really solid, like unique Far Cry game since Far Cry 3.
Yeah.
Like, because
Far Cry 3 and Blood Dragon, like
Blood Dragon was awesome. Like 4, like had some kind of cool stuff in it, but it was still like a pretty boring world, and it was just built on the same like system that third one was.
Yeah, and then 5, like apparently the story is kind of cool, but I don't like. It just looked the same. All the animations are just copy and pasted. Again, you just clear checkpoints and you just go to watchtowers and shit, and you just it's the same as like they've done with Watch Dogs. Like nothing improves.
Yeah, I do like some of the more like hunting elements where you have to go like find like certain animals to kill, and then that way you can get upgraded like ammo pouches or whatever. I like that kind of stuff. Like those elements of the game, I think are really fun.
That's the thing though as well. Like, I don't know. This is the only thing about Far Cry 6 that gives me a little bit of like intrigue. Is that the setting of it seems to be a city.
Yeah.
So what are they going to do with like wildlife and like how are they going to populate this place?
Well, also if you have a Far Cry game that takes place in a city, it's not really a Far Cry game anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of want them to go back to like 3 and 2 because 2 had some like really cool designs. Like everything was in game. Like you didn't have a map. You had to physically pull it out.
Yeah. They had like proper like actual survival game mechanics, which is really
Yeah,
cool.
exactly. Like if you got shot by stuff, you had to like pull out and dig out the bullets, like they did in 3, kind of. You could get malaria and like chlamydia and shit.
When can't you get chlamydia though?
I know. Give me a game where I can get like all the STDs and you have to collect them all.
I want a
Pokemon.
game where you play as Joey Badass and you have to collect all the diseases in the world so the world won't have no more diseases.
He's essentially completed that. But... I didn't really have on my list. What else did I have? Right, I had Halo Infinite just because I want it to be bad.
I mean,
I don't really. I want it to be a good game, and I want it to bring people back to Halo. But like
it
just
will be the most mediocre shooter possible, but people will still be like,
simping.
well, yeah, they'll still simp over it. Like so many people, like when they're defending like Xbox, like saying they have no exclusives. They're like, yeah, but we have Halo. It's like Halo hasn't been good since like 2008. Like,
I wouldn't even say that. I'd say 2005. Like Halo 1 and 2, great games. Halo 3, pretty good. 4 was like 4 actually. The story of 4 was pretty cool.
I think I love probably Reach actually the most.
Oh, Reach.
I love Halo Reach.
Yeah, Reach is better actually. 5 came out, no one gave a shit because they catfished everyone with what the character was and who you were playing as. And then like, but the funny thing is, you're right. People simp no matter what. When the gameplay for Halo blocky GameCube looking mess, people were like, "Yeah, but it looks like the Halo I remember."
It's like gameplay wise, it looked fine. Like I don't think that was like people's issue with it. Like with how it played, it was just how it looked.
Yeah, it's like if you want it to look like that, just play like modded Halo games.
Yeah, like.
But I did put Elden Ring, although I don't think that game's ever coming out.
No, definitely not this year.
No, maybe like
I did look into that just to make sure it wasn't coming out this year, because otherwise I would have put that on my top 3 as well.
Yeah. One that I generally don't think is coming out this, and if it was and we'd seen gameplay, it would be on my list, is God of War.
Oh, okay.
Ragnarok.
To be fair, I forgot. But they did say it's coming out this year, and they haven't changed that yet. But they will.
No way. What I did think, and I feel like they're going to pull people out under the rug with this, the fact that it's not called God of War 2.
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to be. I hope I'm wrong, but there's rumors that Cory Barlog isn't directing it, and that he's working on something completely different or something else.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah. I genuinely feel like this could end up being like a God of War 1.5. And then they're actually working on 2 for PS5 only, because apparently this is coming out on both. Why would you? I mean, you need the sales of both. So if this is 2, it probably makes sense to put it on both. But it can't be coming out this year if it is genuinely the sequel to God of War 2018.
I mean, that's a good point, but it depends on what direction they decide to go with it, I think. At least in terms of story.
Because I would imagine that God of War Ragnarok would take place immediately where the first does.
Yeah, like that. Like,
but then God of War 2 would then take place a couple of years later, where Atreus is older, people are older, which makes you think that Ragnarok is just like the in between,
or almost like the Miles Morales for God of War.
Yeah.
I mean, that does make a lot of sense, because like I think for it to be a proper sequel, I feel like you'd have to like play as like Atreus or like Atreus, and it like there's some big definitive change.
Yeah. Whereas like that's the thing with Ragnarok, when that game was teased at the end of the first one. I mean, it says like a year later, doesn't it, or like a few months later?
Yeah.
So are they really going to make you play the sequel in the exact same shoes again of like Kratos. Are they going to do that? Because it's not like they can do the thing where you're injured or you've got to then start with half of the powers again.
Yeah, oh, that
Like
fucking
every
bullshit.
game did. God of War did that notoriously.
Yeah.
Like you have to collect all your blades again.
Yeah.
Like fuck off.
You're able to kill gods. Yeah, at the start of every game, you're back to square one. You can't kill like a fucking harpy.
Yeah. And I feel like they wouldn't get away with doing that. So either Ragnarok is a mid-tier game where you carry over your save file in a sense, and God of War 2 is where it's the real like progression of the story, or the fallout from Ragnarok kind of thing.
I mean, like I could definitely see them doing that, but like I feel like we would know by this point.
But that's the thing. I think I'll take back what I said if they show gameplay and everything. But if they then push Ragnarok out of 2021, then that is 2. That is God of War 2. But who knows? Who fucking knows? One last thing I wanted to mention is no one said anything about anything Nintendo. But this year is like Donkey Kong's anniversary, Zelda's 35th anniversary. But Nintendo are probably going to do nothing.
They'll do fuck all.
They'll do a collection that's timed.
Is Breath of the Wild 2 supposed to come out this year?
People are saying that. Like, I see Breath of the Wild 2 is on a lot of people's anticipated list, but I don't think there's any way that game's coming out this year.
Doesn't seem like
early 2022, probably.
Yeah, I think that's about fair.
There's rumors that there's going to be a Switch Pro. I kind of think that's late to do that now. Like, they should have done that like a year ago.
Yeah.
But
it's pretty late into the Switch's life cycle and that.
Exactly. The rumors are that if they did announce a Pro, the launch title would be Breath of the Wild 2 for it. But that's kind of a cop out. That's kind of shitty, I think. But I don't know. And then I'm sure some kind of Mario game will be announced, maybe the end of the year, like a new 3D Mario. Because Odyssey was 2017.
Oh my god, was it really?
Yeah, how nuts is that?
I can't believe that game came out so long ago.
I know. So you think that there'd be like an Odyssey 2 or something?
Yeah.
Or Mario, fucking give us Mario Kart 9. Like,
I'm gonna be pissed if we don't get a new Mario Kart for the Switch.
Yeah, but they'll be like, yeah, but you did Mario Kart Live, the one where you play the actual RC.
No. It's like, well, you got 8 Deluxe, which was even more like tracks than the first one. No. No, you're not gonna weasel your way out of this one, Nintendo.
Yeah. I mean, that's gaming in 2021, people.
That's gaming.
Honk
if you're gaming.
Honk if you're pogging.
Honk if you're poggers.
If I had to throw anything else out there, I'd like to see a new Spyro game.
Okay.
And a new Soul Reaver game. Bring Soul Reaver back.
Bring Soul Reaver back.
But yeah. Anyway,
Spyro game's never gonna happen. Sorry. I know. But you can always still hope.
Oh well. But yeah, that's probably about it, I think. Let us know if anyone else has any anticipated games.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't care. We're not going to read the comments, but
also please comment.
Please comment, like, and subscribe, and ring the bell. Ring the dingy bell.
Just press the dingity dong.
Ring the bell for dinner. We will provide you dinners to your homes.
Yeah, we'll bring you
meals on wheels.
All right, thanks.
Bye.